It's really a great question. I actually got a quote where I tell people, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. So actually my mentors are millionaires, Black millionaires,
Nice.
that own, property here. I mean, I actually do a lot of my events at 5 Central, which is one of the largest Black owned, high end restaurants right outside of River Oaks, which is the richest part of Houston. So really them. And, part of that is also learning to detach.
And here we go. You're listening to the Kings Can Move On podcast with your hosts, Jason Stewart and Frank Rainey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kings Can Move On podcast. You got your one co-host right here, Frank the Tank, aka Big Reno, Kansas City's finest. What's happening?
What's up, everybody? You got your boy Jay, aka Wood, aka Casey H-Town on IG, and welcome. We have a special guest tonight. I'd like to introduce my man here, Mr. Dewan Clayborn. How you doing, Dewan?
Man, I'm good, man. I didn't prepare my intro like y'all doing, aka, all that stuff. But other than that, I'm good, man. I appreciate you.
Man,
brother.
we like 10 or 11 episodes in, brother.
So you're not new to this, you're true to this. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming natural,
So Dewan is a friend of mine. We're actually church members, go to the same church. Actually, we both are in the usher ministry at the Church Without Walls. We haven't seen you in a while, though, because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to get him on here because he got a lot going on. I think he's a successful young man, and talk about his successes and talk about, his life a little bit. So the first thing I want to get into one is I know that you are the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce in Lake City, right?
Yeah, first Black president CEO of Lake City Regional Chamber.
Congratulations, my brother. Yeah. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. Oh, God.
So for those that don't know, what does the Chamber of Commerce do?
That's a great question. And, I always like to assume people do not know, because before I got into this industry, I had no idea either, So big picture wise, what I tell people is that, for residents, you have a mayor and a city manager and council that focus on residents. And then you have your Chamber of Commerce, which is basically like a mayor of major cities that focuses on the businesses and ensuring that they're successful and promotes economic development. So we do everything from recruiting businesses to come to our area to also business retention and ensuring that, the businesses are successful so they can keep their doors open. And I actually help lower tax rates for residents in that city.
Really? Oh, yeah? How's that? Because now you're speaking my language, because I don't like the government. So tell me how you would decrease taxes and stop the government from stealing our funds.
So basically, when you think about, okay, whatever city you're in as a resident, you pay taxes, right? And so with that, typically, you got your local tax, and then if you got a school, right, like a high school or something like that, they typically pass bonds, which allow them to build more schools, which will increase your tax rate because you're in that community. Now, to offset that, businesses actually pay tax as well to the city. And so essentially, the more businesses you have, they can help take on that tax burden for residents. It helps it lower. So really, the more businesses that you have in a community is actually beneficial for the residents.
Okay. And you guys, is it like big businesses, small businesses? Is it focused on one or the other, or is it just helping all?
All of them, all spectrums, because again, businesses are, driving that tax because people are shopping local, right? And so for every $100 spent in a community, $68 is reinvested back into that community. So there are a lot of benefits by shopping local that overall has a greater benefit for the residents in that community.
And we're not talking about like just a home-based business. You're talking about a brick and mortar.
Yeah, a brick and mortar for sure. However, for chambers, we have home-based businesses, brick and mortars, online shops, all of those things.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So it's benefiting the businesses, which then benefits the community itself. So it's just one big circle. I understand. So you're the first Black president of the League City Chamber of Commerce. So tell me, how did you get involved and get into Chamber of Commerce?
Man, it was really God, First off, from Little Rock, Arkansas, played basketball in college. Yeah,
What you know about Conway and Menifee, Arkansas?
Come on, man. I played Division I at UCA.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
so
what's up, bro.
Definitely know about Conway. Was there 4 years. So when I graduated, relocated to Houston. First job in Houston, I was actually a server at Papa Do's. Learned a lot about customer service and things like that. After that, I became a manager at Sam's Club about a year and a half. Made some horrible mistakes managing at a young age. Then got recruited to Target, jumped ship there. Still was young, didn't manage well. You all look a little younger, so you might not remember about a decade or two ago, Target went through a big breach.
Yeah.
Credit card breach.
Right.
And so with that, they actually downsized. And with that, it's like the saying, last one in, first one out. So they kept the tenured employees. And so since I had only been there a year and a half versus someone that's been there 3 years, of course, I was the one that got let go. So I'm like, man, God, like, what's going on? What do you have for me? And so literally got a random message from an aunt about a Chamber of Commerce position for director of special events. And, I went ahead and was like, okay, I'll try to interview it. I need a job. And so I literally interviewed at 11 a.m. She offered me the job by 2 p.m. the same day. Wow. First time that's ever happened. Yeah, first time I ever received a job offer the same day. And so there, I started at the Fort Bend Chamber in Sugar Land, Texas, which I didn't realize was really top 10 best chambers in the world. And I was getting grade A experience. And so I was there for 3.5 years, broke a lot of records, did some great things. And then it pivoted and allowed me to eventually be where I'm at today to run my first chamber as a president and CEO.
Okay. And how long you been with the League City one?
It'll be 3 years in July 2022.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And now, so does the city run the chamber, or are they?
Great question. So the chamber is actually a nonprofit, but it's a 501c6 organization. So a lot of times people think a chamber is part of the government of the city. However, we're not. We're our own entity.
Okay. All right.
Where does the funds come from to pay the chamber? Is that just from the businesses as far as membership dues or something, fees or something like that?
Man, you're already on top of it. Yeah. So what I like to tell people is that basically, you all ever shop at Sam's Club or Costco?
Yeah.
Costco.
Yeah.
Costco. Okay, I'm a Sam's Club guy, right? So, but you pay your annual membership fee, right? Right. So that's what business do to us. So I have tier structures. So business pay me $200 a year all the way up to $15,000, $20,000 a year.
Okay. So the more businesses you guys have involved, the better it is for you.
Yeah, the better it is for me, the better it is. We like to feel for the community, right? Because we're promoting that business. We're encouraging people to shop local. They're enhancing their credibility by being a part of the chamber. So what we like to think is that increases the quality of life in the community.
Okay.
Do you ever turn businesses down?
Yeah, I actually do. Because, honestly, I go to the extent where I, have a member profile where, if some business don't fit in my membership profile, I honestly won't allow them to join. Because for me, I think big picture about retention, right? So for instance, let me give an example. My regular membership is $300, right? And through my experience, what I've realized is, the harder it is for me to convince a business to invest in themselves $300, and I don't knock anyone's situation. $300 is a lot of money annually, right? And so, businesses that tell me, hey, Dewan, that's really a lie. I don't know. And I tell them, hey, well, right now might not be the time for you to join. Because from my experience, what I've seen is, convincing them to join is probably like a 70% chance that they won't renew the following year. So from a CEO perspective, when I have to do an annual budget and I'm counting on that, it ends up really, affecting me in the long run versus just allowing that business to mature some where, $300 isn't gonna break the bank for them.
So tell me this, Dewan. If I'm a business owner and I come to the chamber and we talk about joining, what are some of the benefits that you would tell me about that I will gain from joining the Chamber of Commerce?
I was just about to
Great.
ask that.
Hey, right. Great question. And I will start off by one, asking more about your business, want to understand it, right? And based on that, I'll let you know the benefits we have. So, typically for smaller businesses, they like to join because of the big ribbon cutting that we do. We host a big ribbon cutting where we invite out the media and things like that. So it's like a big PR injection. They get to get featured in the newspaper, really cool, monumental things. Other ways, are they're listed on our website. So like, on Google, when you search like, oh, what's the local flower company? Mm-hmm. Well, our chamber, we work very closely with Google and SEO so that our chamber member will pop up first through our chamber website. So from like a search engine optimization to, credibility in the community to help, drive that foot traffic to your business. And then overall, advocacy. So meaning you as a small business owner, if you have an issue, we have a big voice in Austin and DC, so allowing your voice to be heard. Those are just some of, some benefits of being a part of the chamber that allows you as a business owner to have a voice, not only in your community, but in the region.
Okay, so I got something for you. Then I'll ask you. Let's say I come to you, Dewan, and I say, hey man, I have a business here and I'm looking to join your chamber of commerce in your city. You ask me what it is, I'll say, it's an entertainment business. It's a strip club.
If you're enjoying this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
In other words, would you allow someone, is that something that you will say, all right, let's talk about it and see what we can do for you? Y'all gonna do a ribbon cutting? Y'all gonna have us in the paper and everything?
Yeah, we're gonna promote you. You're still a part of the community. You're a part of the community. You're a business. Again, your storefront is helping residents lower their tax.
So if I bring Chocolate and Bunny in there with me, and I say, hey, Chocolate and Bunny, show the wine what y'all can do.
Hey man, look, I'm not saying I want to see all that. However, you as a business, I want you to survive and thrive and be successful. And so with that, we want to advocate and let people know that you're a part of the community.
Hey, y'all pay taxes too, man.
Exactly. Hey, again, they pay taxes, right?
Right.
So
right.
People not gonna complain when you're low in your tax rate.
Right.
Yeah. Just saying. Hey, that's actually come up before, and chamber conversations and stuff. And so I tell chambers, don't discriminate. I mean, at the end of the day, we're inclusive when we talk about workforce, when we talk about diversity and inclusion and stuff. So we need to be that same way around being inclusive for businesses as well.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That sounds like a great place you're at, a great position. Now, I'll look at your Facebook page and also notice that you have on there also, you are the Chief Marketing Officer for Forever Families. a nonprofit, right?
Yeah, now actually that's a past role.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a past role, but yeah, I was a chief marketing officer for them. But I still actually work very close with Forever Families because I really consider myself a philanthropist. So I have a plethora of community events that I do, from backpack drives to toy drives and things of that nature, where I do an annual toy drive. This year, 2022, actually will be my ninth annual. But those toys go to foster adoption kids, because during Christmas time, people don't think about them. We're all focused on our families and stuff, right? But what about these 20,000 kids that are in homes and things like that won't receive a Christmas? I think about those individuals. And so through my influence that I have in a community, it's a great way to get my friends and organizations to, donate and give back and be a part of a bigger cause.
That's
What's
dope,
up,
man.
man?
And you know
Salute to
what?
you, bro.
Listen to that and your chamber. It sounds like you're big on community and you're big on giving back. So where does that come from? Was that instilled in you as a child from your parents, or somewhere on the line you picked it up? Where does that come from?
I think it comes from, the similar interests you and me have. It comes from the word,
Mm.
give and it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, or the scripture that says, when you show God you're faithful with little things, he'll trust you with greater things, And so just the fact of knowing that we have resources to be a blessing to others that don't have those resources. And yeah, I think that was installed in me at a younger age, but it's definitely, a motto that I live by in general. And I see that the more that I do give, the more resources God has, really blessed me with, that makes me want to actually give more.
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be a blessing to others, right? We're blessed so we can be a blessing.
Right.
It's not so we can hoard and keep everything ourselves. We're supposed to be able to help our fellow man, our fellow woman, whatever, who are in need. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you're not
Do
with
you
Forever Families anymore, but you do have your own business outside the chamber, right? Isn't it Houston Moves? You still have that company?
Yeah. Houston Mouves, doing like high-end events, whiskey tasting, wine tasting. And each event, a portion of our proceeds actually goes to a nonprofit. Typically, it lines up with the month. Like this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we work with a lot of local nonprofits to help bring them exposure, but also, to invest in them monetarily with a donation.
All right.
sound like you stay busy, brother? Stay
Hey
busy.
man, hey, book busy and blessed.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. What challenges do you face or have that you have faced in your current position or either with your current position or with your businesses?
Wow, you say current position. So, I can definitely start there.
Hmm.
Um, you know, it's really a blessing in disguise now that I think about it. And I tell people I made the biggest rookie mistake before I said yes to being the president and CEO. I didn't ask to see financials. And so on my first day, my executive team drops these paper on my desk and I'm like, okay, what is this? Found out my chamber was 40,000 in debt, 2,300 in a bank account. I had 3 staff members and myself. I'm like, how am I even going to get paid? So first off, before you take a high-end role position, people, make sure you ask see financials. However, everything happens for a reason. And so I didn't ask that. And, I honestly wouldn't have known the leadership skills that I had because within 6 months, I was able to pay all of that off, and we actually end the year in black. Um,
Good.
which was the first time that that's happened for our chamber in years. So it's a blessing in disguise. However, I like to go ahead and, tell people don't make the same mistakes I made. Ask to see financials before you say I do.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. All right. So with the chamber and then with your own business, are you able to utilize them at all to help your own business, or is it just keep everything separate?
I like to keep things separate. Don't like to commingle. However, from a strategic planning, marketing standpoint, it does help my personal business because as a president CEO, I mean, you're over the day-to-day operations. You're over, I manage an $800,000 budget. I'm over forecasting and all those things, and so it actually does spill over into my businesses because like I can't just, basically do things, some people just get started and be like, oh, I'll figure it out. No, I want to have good governance. I want to have good sound, policies, procedures, and things like that. So it actually helps me in my business to be more professional versus before I was president CEO, I was kind of willing and dealing things.
Yeah, just kind of hustling and making it work, right?
Right. Now it's more strategic and intentional.
Coordinated, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, man, I'll ask you, who do you surround yourself with? Because one thing that I've learned in listening to folks like Les Brown, Eric Thomas, motivational guys, they say surround yourself with greatness and you'll become great. Who do you surround yourself with?
That's really a great question. I actually got a quote where I tell people, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. So actually my mentors are millionaires, Black millionaires, that own, property here. I mean, I actually do a lot of my events at 5 Central, which is one of the largest Black owned, high-end restaurants right outside of River Oaks, which is the richest part of Houston. So really them, and, part of that is also learning to detach from individuals. And that's a whole conversation because, I had a battle, with my mind, growing up, it was always, oh, I'm gonna stick true to who I am, and really want to hold on to that. But in retrospect, those people look at me now like, oh, Dewan, you've changed. And I say, well, why haven't you changed? Why are you the same person from middle school? Why are you the same person from high school?
You're not
why
growing.
are you still doing the same thing from college? Right. So, that can actually be a barrier and a hindrance to our community that we need to dispel that myth in order to help people, scale.
Yeah.
True talk, man. I have some people I grew up with, and you look back and they're still in the same rut or still situation, and they're just not moving forward. And you're like, man, what's going on, man? We're getting older and older, but we're not moving forward. Not progressing. Right. But it's all about progression. If you ain't, like I said, if you ain't growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
You gotta keep growing. You had some more questions, Reno. I'm trying to remember what you had. You had written down, right?
Oh, you don't know shit, Jay. So.
But yeah, the trips, man.
trying to be professional around here, and I got this
camera. Yeah.
Hey, man, look, no problem. Hey, to each his own. You feel me? To each his own.
So, man, tell me about your business, man. Tell me about your own business. How long have you been in business for yourself?
Oh man, since like 2015. So Houston Mouves, yeah. So while I was at the Fort Bend Chamber, right? I told you I was directing special events. I'm like pulling off all these events and making, the chamber all this profit. And I'm like, man, I could do this for myself. And so around 2015, that's when Houston Mouves was incorporated. And so it is, man, it's just grown so much. And so basically, we do whiskey tasting, scotch tasting, all of my philanthropy stuff. So my backpack drive, my toy drive. I actually do an annual scholarship where I host a suits and sneaker ball, and I donate $1,000 to a high school student. I actually do $2,000 checks and laptops. And we talk. They submit an essay on what's your why. What do you want to be? Why do you want to be that? Basically, get them starting to think about that early in high school as they're transitioning to college. Because honestly, I didn't think about that really until I graduated. I'm like, okay, I got this degree. What am I going to do?
Do you?
If you're enjoying this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
Do you? Do you have qualifications for that? Do they have to
Yeah,
be like
yeah.
a certain
So
age?
great point. So they got to be a senior. They got to have a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. They have to have already been accepted into the college of, of their interest. You know what I mean? So basically showing that they've already done their back end work,
Mm-hmm.
to show that they're, forward thinking and putting plans in place. And then I have, a good support group of educators, a committee that I form. And so they vet the essays, and out of essays, they pick the top two. And so at our annual Suits and Sneaker Ball, we invite the winners out and their parents, present the checks and everything. And man, just to see, the excitement on the kids' face and really the parents' face, to see their kids being recognized,
Yeah.
for them going above and beyond. It's just monumental. And it's a great way to get a lot of us Black young professionals together and allow them to be a part of giving back in a scholarship. And hopefully my goal is to encourage them to want to do the same thing, to pay it forward. So yeah, pay it forward. I'm doing it, you can too. So hopefully it becomes a ripple effect. And now we got more scholarships that can help set people up for success.
When you're doing that, do you go to businesses, like if you're going to host, where you're going to host the Suits and Sneakers Ball? Do you go to businesses and ask them to donate, or are you paying for that?
So first couple years I was paying. Now I'm at the point where I actually have business that will sponsor, and they see what I'm doing, they like it, and maybe they can't attend, but hey, I'll sponsor one scholarship. So that's how I actually got the $2,000 scholarships, because at first it was $500. But then somebody said, well, I'll match you $500. So now I did. So the second year I did two $500s, to eventually I'm like, all right, well, I'll do 1,000. And somebody, I'll match you 1,000, so then we did $2,000 scholarships. So I a lot of times I have skin in the game in it, but it's gonna be like my fourth and fifth annual. So, a lot of people see the vision and they want to be, financially involved with investors. So it's getting to the point where, I don't necessarily have to invest monetarily. My donation is putting the whole thing together, and all the aesthetics and stuff. And then I actually get the scholarships donated through a sponsor.
Yeah, that's dope. So you talked about, having mentors and how it's benefited you. So have you in turn become a mentor for any young women or young men that you've come across?
Yeah, so I have some mentees. I'm actually a part of at our church. We have the Boys to Men Mentorship. So I have some mentees there. I actually a part of Chauncey Glover, his mentorship program. He's a big time news anchor here in Houston. But always looking for opportunities to mentor someone. However, at the end of the day, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. So I'm interested in helping people that have initiative to move forward, but not necessarily beating the same drum that has the same sound.
So let me ask you this, Dewan. With dealing with, youngsters like that and being so close, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing they're having? They're coming to you and saying, Dewan or Mr. Clayborn, I'm having this problem or this issue. What are some of the common issues you hear from these young people today?
I mean, I think it's a lot of just, like bullying and, through like really social media, not feeling like they're enough. That generation, they're raised with a lot of technology, which we weren't, and so with that, there's a lot of mental health issues and concerns within just that. And, so really just allowing them and allowing them to vent, but also allowing them to understand that don't put too much value on man's opinion. At the end of the day, we're here for God. And so man can always let you down. You know what I mean? And the man is carnal. So really helping them understand what they shouldn't value.
Yeah, and like you said, we didn't have all these social media outlets and all that when we was coming up. We just had regular bullies, and
Right.
we had regular peer pressure and things of the nature. But I just imagine now today with so much in your face between IG, Snap, TikTok, Facebook, it must be immense pressure on these young folks today to measure up, because if you're relying on what's going on the gram, you always gonna be short because everybody's on the block. They floss on the gram, you know.
Right.
Even if they faking, they flossing.
A lot
So
of them
I
are
just think it's
faking.
important
It
for us
ain't
to,
no even if they fake it. A lot of them are faking.
yeah, you know, they in somebody else's car, they renting something for the weekend, whatever, and we just gotta make sure. I know young folks know, you know, stop trying to measure up to these false images that you see on social media. You know, be true to yourself. You know, and
Stop giving a damn. I mean, well, you know, to a certain extent, stop giving a damn what those other people saying to you, because in 5, 10 years, they will mean nothing to you. You know?
Yeah, and it's honestly not just them. It's people our age too. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
throughout COVID, you know what I mean? That is amplified, you know, mental health issues, because people are watching people take all these lavish trips, and it makes you think, man, how come I'm not taking a trip? Or people are buying these new properties, and it's just always something good, right? And so it's really across the spectrum, not just the younger kids, but it's older as well. Now, older, we can hopefully manage it a little better, but younger, they're not, you know, that mature yet to look at in that aspect.
yeah, I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they're talking about it's okay to look at other people and maybe look at their success and let it motivate you or give you some kind of idea of how you can do stuff yourself, but don't compare yourself to them. Don't do comparisons. Right. Because if you compare yourself to somebody else, you're gonna always have issues. Don't try to compare and try to be what they be. Just look at it like, okay, they balling, that's cool. What are they doing the ball? What are they doing to be successful? I take some of that and put it in my own life and maybe use it, but don't say like, damn, they out of control. I can't. I'm over here struggling. You know, that's gonna always defeat yourself when you do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't like to compare, because at the end of the day, you never know somebody's story. So you're comparing yourself to something that you think you know, but you really don't. So it's really not even exactly. So it's really not even fair for you to compare yourself, because if you know what that individual took to get them there, then you will have a whole different outlook on them. But you can't even see that through the glimpses that people show on social media.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. So stop doing that, Frank. Stop watching folks online and comparing yourself. Because you ain't gonna measure up, partner.
I know. Just can't get it, but thick skull.
Do this. Say, Frank, you're a winner. Gosh darn it, I like you.
You know one thing about me, man. Anybody that hangs out with me nowadays, they know that I don't really give a damn what nobody do, because it has no reflection on me and what I'm gonna do in my life. So
right, it ain't put no money in your pocket.
Nope.
Shit. Like Jay-Z said, what you ate don't make me shit. And that's the truth.
Right.
That's the truth.
That is very true. That's very true.
Yeah, man. That's one thing I wanted to ask you, man. Now, you got a family, kids?
Anything? Nah, none of that.
Dewan's still pretty young, though. I mean, how old are you now, Dewan?
Well, I'm 32.
32?
32?
Yeah, 32.
Yeah. He's just getting started. Like, you know, he ain't like us old heads over here.
I'm just getting warmed up.
That's good, man. Good, brother. You're doing big things, though, man. What would you say to a young brother or even young sister that have had the struggles in the beginning? Let's say that they may have not finished school. They have not. They're hanging around the same people. They want and they genuinely want to do better. But you see that they're going through that same thing every day by day. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say first, let's just start with the obstacles, right? When they keep failing. At the end of the day, I have a term saying, make sure you fail forward. So if you fail, don't beat yourself up. Look at what could you have learned from that situation. So to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Yeah. That's first and foremost, you know. So just changing the mindset of failure. Because guess what? I look at failure as opportunities now. And if I'm trying something and I don't fail, I feel like I'm being too complacent. Like if I go a whole year without failing, like say when he used to Mouves an event, I'm not stretching my comfort zone. So it's actually good to fail. So really it's first, you know, changing that mindset, that narrative about failing, you know, to then secondly, you know, allowing them to realize you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome. What is that? That's insanity. So if you want different, you have to be different. You need to, something has to change. A lot of times people always say, oh, I want to be this, I want to be a million, I want to do this, but you still live the same lifestyle. You know, make it make sense, right? You know, and so, you know, I would start with one, the mindset around failure, and then two, you know, looking at your company. And like we mentioned earlier, who are you mostly around and what do they look like? You know, is that the image that you plan to be? And if it isn't, then you don't need to be around them. If it is, then start seeking mentorship or see how they're so successful at what they're doing.
And the good thing about what you just said, you said something earlier. I like the fact that you have a lot of people that out here that'll want to change, but they want to do such a dramatic and drastic change. Like if they smoking, they want to stop smoking cold turkey, and you can stop in increments or in cycles. You know, if you smoking a pack a day and you really want to stop, don't stop from doing that pack a day, even though it would be healthy if you stop the pack a day, period. But wean yourself off of that. And that's the way you have to look at itself. Success too. If you have your goal, you got a big ass goal, but you still have to take those little steps to get there. You didn't go from kindergarten to 12th grade overnight, you know? Right. So that's
I'm big on, that's a great point. I'm big on celebrating the small wins, you know? And actually, you know, I was actually reading an article the other day about, you know, when you talk about your staff and managing a team, you know, and when there's situations like, you know, you got a new team member and it can be like information overload of all the new things they're doing, give them something that's an easy win. Wow, what does that do? It boosts their confidence. And so now as they start building confidence, they're able to see themselves chipping away at that big goal.
Yeah. But you know what, Dewan, I'm so glad you joined us tonight. Like I was telling you when we started, our whole mission on this podcast is to, you know, help our young people, show them success, you know, show them young black brothers like yourself that are doing well and how you are doing it. And I think you're doing a very good job, young man. I think, you know, from what I know, you know, you're doing it right. So
appreciate it, man.
Congrats to your success, bro.
Thank you, man, for coming on, for real.
Yeah, thank you, Big Frank.
My pleasure.
You got any last words?
Well, you know, one thing that Dewan hit on, and I really love it, is just make sure you're surrounding yourself. Young men, young women, old women, black, white, Mexican, I don't give a shit. Surround yourself with good people or what you want to attract. If you want to be a business owner, surround yourself with business owners. If you want to be a manager, surround yourself with managers. If you want to be a jump rope king, surround yourself with people who are jump rope kings. So just make sure that you're surrounding yourself around the people that you want to be great with. That you model yourself. You can model yourself after that. Yeah. So
and then once you do that, at the end of the day, be great at it. You know what I mean? Don't settle for mediocre. You know, have an excellence mindset. You know, one thing about one of the reasons I saw the guide, why I've been so successful here, is because I bring a level of excellence. You know, so my goal was to be a chamber president, right? I could have just stopped there, been mediocre. No, I want to be the best chamber president. first in my county, then in the state, and then actually in February 2023, I'm actually going to apply for Chamber of the Year. That's in the US, so once you align yourself with those, like-minded individuals that you see yourself being in the future, don't halfway do it. Go all in, believe in yourself, commit yourself, invest in your knowledge and education so that you can be the best. And guess what? It's okay to want to be the best.
Yep. And it's okay to fail on your way there. Like you just said, fail forward, brother. Sure appreciate you, man, for coming in here and talking with us. We want to have you in there again and hear about your successes at a later date, man. And I wish you all the best, bro, especially coming from Little Rock, Conway, man. Like I said, that's my mom is from Menifee, Arkansas, which is on the way up here. So we go down to Conway and Menifee a lot. I know a lot about Little Rock too. So I dig it, brother. I dig it. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me. Thanks for what you all do. And of course, anytime you need me, I'm one call away.
All right. Big Frank, Big Dewan, we out. Case move on.
Jay.
I see y'all later. Be blessed.
All right.
If you enjoyed that episode, don't forget to subscribe and like us on our YouTube channel and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.